to our final apparatus competitions of the day. Men's rings and women's bars. From Algeria, that's Kalian Emour. Representing Italy, Giulia Perotti. Individual neutral athlete, Milanu Ayumova. Japan's Sugihara Aiko. Neutral athlete, Ulyana Kuzmenkova. Germany's Leah Marie Quas. Representing Japan, Nakashima Koen. And representing Italy, Elisa Iorio. Competing in the men's rings final, representing Armenia, Artur Davitan. From Japan, Fujimaki Shumpi. From Armenia, Artur Avetisian. Representing Slovenia, Luka Boyant. Representing Great Britain, Jack Stanley. From the United States of America, Cameron Nelson. From Argentina, Daniel Villafañe. And representing Azerbaijan, Nikita Simonov. Here is the start list for the men's rings final at this World Gymnastics World Cup final. And here's the start list for the uneven bars final at this year's Cottbus World Cup final. The first four gymnasts are having their touch warm up. And again, we have such a high level of gymnastics here in Cottbus. And the uneven bars and still rings are no exception. Kicking things off over on the bars is the one and only Kalian Emour. Now, if you are new to the sport, then remember that name. She's already made history as Africa's first ever medalist at an Olympic Games, where she became the Olympic champion on the uneven bars. She was also the first African gymnast to win a medal at the World Championships in 2023. She has a unique style and so much difficulty stacked in her bar routine. She has many World Cup medals to her name at this point, and it's safe to say she'll be looking to add to that collection on the bars here today. Over on men's rings, we've got so many gymnasts with a lot of experience, including our top qualifier, who last year took, I'm just trying to count, 1, 2, 3, 4 World Cup medals on the rings. First place in Cairo, second place in Doha, third place in Osijek and third place in 2023 in Cairo. The list goes on. The accomplishments of these athletes are absolutely incredible. The audience here in Cottbus is definitely being entertained by their talents, as are we at home. Many of these gymnasts looking to use the World Cup circuit as their ticket to the World Championships. It offers a way for gymnasts to qualify individually to the World Championships in Rotterdam. Gymnasts earning points based on where they finish on each apparatus. Eligible gymnasts are those that do not qualify to the Worlds as an all-arounder or as parts of a team. The other route to qualification are the Continental Championships. So once the Continental Championships are over, at the end of summer, those that have qualified through the World Cups will then be able to eliminate those that have qualified through the Continental Championships, and the points will be reallocated and we'll find out who's qualified to the World Championships. But kicking things off over on the steel rings, representing Armenia, it's Artur Davtyan. Really good body position. Swing elements into the handstand. Hard to keep those rings still, but he's doing a great job. Into the dismount, just a hop on landing, but controls it. He's pleased with that one. So if you're new to the sport, the thing to look out for will be that dismount landing, which will gain that 0.1 stick bonus if the gymnast can successfully land without moving. And that is likely to make a lot of difference to these standings. The official name for the rings is the still rings. So the less you can move the rings during your routine, the better, especially in those hold positions and those strength elements. Artur did a great job at keeping the rings still.
Dass er jetzt auch perfekt steht, erzielte Bonifikation gibt. Die dritte ist natürlich gerichtet. Das sind sogar noch für den Scheinfehler eine Zehntel.
Known for his vault, but it's a 13.766 for the rings today for Artur Davtyan. He sets the tone for the rest of the gymnasts, and he increased his qualification score by 0.066. Okay, all eyes on the Olympic champion, Kalia Nemor. Blink and you might miss something, because this is a fast-paced routine from start to finish. Brilliant work there. Just manages to keep her feet off the floor. She knows how to work these bars like no other. She's squeezing. We haven't seen a mistake from Nemor in a long time. Normally so consistent. It'll be interesting to see how she scores because her start value is so difficult. But with a routine like hers where everything's connected, she now needs to decide where to pick up the routine from. Lots of support from the crowd and I'm sure her fellow gymnasts, because what she can do on the uneven bars is pure art, so it's a shame to have that mistake. But here she goes, doing what she does best, floating from high to low and back up to the high bar. This is the normal Kaylee Nemor. Finishes with a stuck landing. Such a shame, that fall. But if you want to go back and watch her qualifications routine, she scored a whopping 15.2 with a 7 start value. So it'll be interesting to see what she can score with a full. Second place was 14.033. So she could still be in with a chance of a medal with a full because she's that good. Here was where I think she lost rhythm. She just hit her feet, I think, or was close to hitting her feet on the floor. And once you lose rhythm on the uneven bars, it's so hard to get it back. Normally, she's a master of getting it back and making those small adjustments when needed, but she's also human. And humans make mistakes. So, as I've said previously, this is the start of the competitive year. And every gymnast is going to be building on their confidence and learning from any errors. And this is the time to do it. The World Championships, the biggest competition of the year, isn't till the end of the year. So plenty of time to build back up. She debuted a new skill, which was an in-bar stolder, so that piked stolder with the feet between the hands into the Katchev with the half turn. So innovative, so incredible. She already has a skill named after her, which is, again, the same entry, that in-bar, that pike stolder into the straight Katchev, or gymnastics fans will know it as the Nabieva.
Ja, ich meine, Klassikstark ist ja speziell bei der Qualifikation gewesen, wo sie ja wirklich wahnsinnig
She's moved
ganz klar
gym clubs and is coached now by a new coach, Nadia Massey. She says her previous Olympic cycle, she was under immense psychological pressure on a daily basis and she didn't feel capable of experiencing another cycle like that. So she's found this new dynamic. She wants to be proud of herself and she hopes it will build her self-esteem. She's rediscovered the joy of training and she feels fulfilled and happy. And you can see that even though she made a mistake, she's sitting there with her coach and they're smiling. And that is the most important thing at the end of the day. Look at her lovely form. And she's become known for this combination. The toe on, full pirouette into the immediate double straight. Many gymnasts needing to wind up with some giant circles before the double straight. Not Kalia, she goes immediately. Such an inspiration for gymnasts worldwide, but especially those from African nations. She made the switch from France to Algeria. She'll be competing in the balance beam final tomorrow, where she also qualified in first place. So even though she's made an error on the bars, I'm sure she'll be coming back for redemption on the beam tomorrow. As we wait for Kalia's score. Our next competitor on the men's rings looks ready. Judges seem to be taking their time. Some prefer being on screen more than others. Although the women do not receive the 0.1 stick bonus, there is a 0.2 bonus for dismounts that are rated a D or higher. So for those new to gymnastics, skills are ranked with letters. So an A skill is worth 0.1, B 0.2, C 0.3, etc. So skills that are worth 0.4 and a D or higher receive the 0.2 bonus, and that goes for bars, beam and floor. So here on the bars, the double straight dismount as Kalia performed would receive that bonus. If you are enjoying the gymnastics today, then make sure to tune in again at the same time tomorrow, where we have the vault, P-bar and high bar finals for men, and the balance beam and floor finals for women. And then make sure to tune back in for our World Cups the rest of the year. The next one being in Baku on the 5th of March, followed by Antalya, Cairo, Osijek and Doha. Crowd urging the judges on. We want to know her score.
Und damit können wir jetzt an die Ringe gehen zu Shupai Fujimaki aus Japan.
Our next gymnast on the steel rings represents Japan. It's Fujimaki Shunpei. Great position there. Shows off his strength, the little raise of the chin. Good work, nice handstand position. Good work in the cross. Well executed dismount. Unfortunately doesn't get the stick, but a really clean routine. Excellent position throughout. The swings up to the handstand position. Extremely well controlled. And into the cross.
Ja, Kreuzhand, ja, eine der 4 Hauptkrafthalten an den Ringen. Ausweg, Stelle in den Handstand.
Another good angle there, showing
Umschwungen,
lovely form in the
Doppelsparagon.
handstand, and just a small step on landing, really well controlled.
Ja, alle die Japaner ja bekannt eigentlich für präzise Stände.
The score to beat is
Also jeder
13.766 for the top
auch,
spot.
wenn man sich überlegt, wie viele Landungen man in dem Wettkampf hat, macht es natürlich auch
Fuji
Sinn.
Maki qualified in 6th place with 13.066. He was 5th on rings at the Senior Asian Championships last year. He's a good all-around gymnast, and it's 13.8, a huge improvement on yesterday. Over 0.7 of improvement. And that puts him into the top spot for now. We are back on the uneven bars, and representing Italy is Giulia Perotti. Nice start with the endo. Up to the high bar, she's swinging well. Lovely pack salto down to the low bar. Good form in the air. Beautiful toe point. The Italians always showing good execution from head to toe. Just a hop on landing. She looks relieved. Great work from the young gymnast, just 16 years of age. Her second year as a senior. She'll turn 17 this year. Women are turning 16 as seniors, and men are turning 19. Hitting those all-important handstand positions. Feet glued together. Really lovely work. She kept that rhythm going. Another angle of that pack. Textbook technique and execution.
Also die Erleichterung war ihr jedenfalls aus dem Gesicht abzulesen, als sie vom Gerät gegangen ist. Sie war
That Maloney
gewartet hat.
with the half turn up to the high bar.
Da fällt mir, glaube ich, mehr als ein Stein
She
vom
finishes
Kopf.
that full turn slightly offline, past the handstand, so that will be a small deduction, and another small deduction on the dismount landing, but a very nice routine from Giulia. She qualified in 3rd place with a score of 13.9. She was 3rd on the uneven bars back in 2023 at the Junior World Championships, and 2nd last year at the 2025 Italian Championships. A strong all-around gymnast. Kaylia Nemor's score was 12.9, so that is the score so far to beat.
Unsicherheit, wenn sie weiß, dass
And
die
I'm
verpasst wurde,
feeling
entweder
confident that Julia, and there it is, 14.033, an improvement on her 13.9 in qualifications, and certainly the score to beat so far.
Wahnsinn. Und wir schauen, jeder Kunde den Motivator, aber sicher für Armenien.
Vado di là dall'inizio.
Up next on the rings, representing Armenia, Artur Avetisyan. Pushes up to his whole position with ease. Lovely flat body line. And the raise of the chin, oozing confidence. Minor movements in the handstand. Swings to that whole position again. And this camera angle showing off that great body line. Squeezes to lift those heels. Really still handstand that time. Into the dismount. The tiniest of steps again. Super hard to nail the dismount at the end of such a difficult endurance routine. The strength it takes to hold those positions on the rings. The thing with high-level gymnastics is they make it look easy. But these are extremely difficult skills that take so much practice, strength and conditioning in the gym. Another angle of that body position. The judge is looking for a perfectly straight line from head to toe, which Artur demonstrates there. Great control out of those giant swings. Winds into that dismount at just the smallest of steps. Who's going to be the first one to nail their dismount? That 0.1 could be the difference in this rings final if any of these finalists nail their dismount. But that was a great routine. He scored 14.3 in qualifications. So if he can get near to that, and he does, 14.366. That puts him into the top spot. Great work from Artur. Next to compete on the uneven bars, individual neutral athlete Milana Keyumova. Full pirouette into the immediate in-bar shoulder, connecting nicely, working with speed but managing to control it. Back up to the high bar, lots of energy in this routine. Another in-bar shoulder, such a difficult skill, you've really got to learn that as a young gymnast to properly master it. Slightly out of handstand on that final half pirouette. But she's through to the dismount. Perhaps a tiny bit of disappointment on her face, but a good routine, so hopefully the judges agree. Her teammates, male counterparts, are clapping along. They liked it. There's that in-bar work. And then the straddle shoulder there, into the full turn, straight back down to the low bar. Not only is it physically hard, But routines that are packed with difficulty and connections, your brain has to think so quickly and adjust to any minor differences every single time. You're trying to nail those positions, but it can feel slightly different, especially after gymnasts from another country and the bars have been changed, as in the tension. Coaches can adjust the tension and the placement of the mat and the chalk on the bars. So if something's slightly off, it can knock you, but she was through that routine really well. But it is an apparatus that does require precise adjustments. Young gymnast, just 15 years old. 15 years old, her first year as a senior. So great to make a World Cup final. She qualified in second place with 14.033. There's that in-bar shoulder. Slight flex of the feet, which will be a deduction, but almost feels necessary when you're getting your feet between your hands like that. And there's her score. 14.133 goes into the top spot. And a 0.1 increase on her qualification. And there's the smile of a routine and a job well done. Next to compete, representing Slovenia, Luka Bojanc. Showing great strength from the get-go. Seamlessly into the cross position. Moves confidently. Into the dismount. Double pike forwards. Just again a step on landing. He's pleased with his routine. You can see that straight body position, shoulders in front of the wrists and in front of the rings, and then that perfect straight body and arms across.
So wirklich die Beinposition des Handgelenks. Man versucht es immer wieder, weil immer der Wirbelsäule zwischen den Ringen, also diese Wirbelsäule mit den Bögen zwischen den Ringen.
Took a second, because that is slow motion, to get into that final position. Maybe not quite as precise as some of the gymnasts we've seen so far, and a slightly easier dismount. So it'll be interesting to see if that's reflected in his score. Top score so far, 14.366, and it's 13.366 for Luka. An improvement on his qualification, which was 12.466. So he'll be pleased with that. And our next competitor on the bars from Japan, Sugihara Aiko. Swinging well so far, dynamic and precise. Lovely pack salto. Little off handstand there, but nothing to worry about. I spoke too soon there. What a shame. Again, on bars, it tends to be a knock-on effect, so maybe that handstand that was slightly off did have that effect. Looked like she needed a minute to compose herself there, but she's going to get back on. The crowd are behind her. Winds up her dismount. Double salto with the half twist. Tiniest adjustment on landing. Known for her smiles, she's still smiling despite the error. Two-time Olympian. She went to the Rio 2016 Olympics and the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. More so known for her floor than anything else, so really great to see her in this bar final. She's known more as a floor and beam worker, so really exciting to see her in a bar final and proving herself as more of an all-around gymnast despite the mistake. Really tidy tuck position in the air. Tuck is often hard to make look that neat, especially when you're going for the blind landing. So she did really well there and showed her professionalism after that error. The top score at the moment on the uneven bars, 14.133. Unfortunately, with the fall, it's unlikely that Sugihara will reach that score. She was 6th in qualifications with 13.166. Another look at that dismount, so precise. It's 12.133, which puts her into 4th place at the moment. And she's still smiling, which we love to see. Amazing attitude and sportsmanship. We will now have our next 4 competitors warm up. Here's our rings start list. And here's our start list for the uneven bars. We've got 4 competitors left to go. Gymnasts having their touch warm up. 1 go on the rings and 1 go on the uneven bars before they put their hands up and compete for real. Uneven bars is always a difficult one to warm up on and compete on when you're on the international stage and you've got gymnasts who like the bars prepped a different way. As you can see, people using water on the bars. Sometimes you'll see honey, you'll see people using wire brush or other tools to take chalk off the bar. Then other gymnasts trying to put more chalk on the bar, adjusting the tension and the placement of the mat. A lot to deal with. And there's a mat in there for safety for the warm-up. Occasionally gymnasts will intentionally miss a skill in a warm-up. Warm-up is completely separate to competition, so it's up to you how you decide to use your time. Next up on the rings, representing Great Britain, it's Jack Stanley. Good start there. And another nice position in that second cross hold. Precise in the pike hold, holding everything. Winds into the dismount, just a hop back on the landing. Good work there in his first World Cup final. He's pleased with that. 22 years old. Jack qualified in 7th place with a score of 12.933. He trains at Leeds Gymnastics Club with Great Britain stars such as Luke Whitehouse and Harry Hepworth.
Hier die Rhythmusstände in Kreuzern. Auch er mit dem Jonas.
Great to see Jack getting experience on the international stage and making it finals. The Great Britain men's team has a lot of depth. And good work there into the dismount.
Auch hier bei den Männern im Abgang mindestens D-Geschwindigkeit. Und da bietet sich dann dieser vermeintlich relativ einfache Abgang natürlich an.
Jack was 6th all around at the 2025 English Championships. And it's just his 2nd time competing at World Cup, so incredible to make a final. Leeds Gymnastics Club has such a strong men's gymnastics programme. Exciting to be a part of that on a daily basis, and they're really building something special over there, and it's 12.966. Slight improvement on his qualification routine for Jack Stanley. And we're back on the uneven bars, and this is neutral athlete Ulyana Kuzmenkova. Strong start into the Stolder, and the Shapoznikova with a half turn. Back up to the high bar. Catches the release and catch with nice straight arms. Unusual dismount there. Cleanly through her routine. She qualified in 8th place with a score of 12.666. Choosing to wear socks. Keeps the feet warm. I'm sure there's other reasons for it, but with a toe point like hers, you can do what you want. Beautiful toe point throughout the routine. Lovely handstand position. Every single position is deductible, so judges are looking for every handstand to be right on top of the bar. Straight body line. And Ulyana manages to do just that. It's all smiles from her and her coach. 13.033, a good improvement on her qualification score and puts her into third place. Up next on the rings, representing the United States, it's Cameron Nelson. Nice body position in the planche. Up the inverted cross there. A good job. And another inverted cross done in handstand. And another triple back, just what he's known for. Tiniest of hop-on landings, but Cameron Nelson in his second appearance here in the finals. And he didn't mess around then, did he? Great work.
That was fire. That was fire.
Good work. Iron crosses and inverted crosses done in handstand have increased in value in this current cycle. It's good to see gymnasts and coaches taking note and playing to your strengths. Got to constantly adapt and move with these new rules. And here's that triple back dismount, which is a G in value. So that's worth 0.7. The triple pike dismount, named after USA's Donnell Wittenberg, is the hardest rings element in the code, and it's worth an H. That triple tuck, not bad at all. 13.866. Big improvement again on his qualification, which was 13.1. Next up on the bars, representing Germany, Lea Marie Quast. Lovely amplitude in that opening Shapovalnikova. Beautiful handstand positions. Catches with a nice stretched arm position. Lovely dynamic work from Lea. Full pirouette, beautiful toe point. Into the dismount. Excellent work. A really beautiful routine there from start to finish, in front of her home crowd, who enjoyed it. That routine looked like a walk in the park. Effortless from Lea Marie Quast. Here's that opening, Maloney. Back down to the low bar with ease. Every handstand position was accurate, and every time she caught the bar, she had straight arms, which is what the judges are looking for. Into the Jaeger. Look at the straight arms on that recatch. Gorgeous. And another pirouette there, finishing as close to the handstand position as she can. Into the full pirouette. Again, she finishes precisely and winds into that dismount. Just a hop on landing. That was a very confident routine. As a viewer, I didn't have any doubts. There were no rhythm checks. That should be a good score. She got 12.866 in qualifications. Top score at the moment, 14.133. And it's 13.033 to break into the medals. Leah Marie was first on the uneven bars at the 2025 Bundesliga finals. She represented Germany at the 2025 Europeans, competing on the uneven bars and the balance beam. Great height on that piked Jaeger. Perhaps not the highest difficulty, but the execution was great from start to finish.
Ja, ich habe es ja gestern schon gesagt, ein sehr tonkundiges Publikum hier in der Mannschaftsarena. Da wird auch gerne mal mitgewertet auf den Rängen.
These uneven bar judges are keeping us on our toes today. Another anxious wait. And it's 13.033. She goes into third place. She had the same score as Uliana, so the tie break would have been on execution, and she's in third place. Great work. Next up on the rings, representing Argentina, it's Daniel Villafañe. Slight pike in the hips, but he managed to correct it. Smooth into the handstand and straight into the dismount. Another hop on landing. I'm desperate to see someone stick their landing in this World Cup final, but a really great routine nonetheless. There was that slight adjustment, he realised, and lifted his feet slightly higher to make sure his body position was straight. Lovely body position there. Slight pike in the hips in the dismount, and again a small deduction on the landing. Good routine. He needs 13.8 to break into the medals. He scored 13.6 in qualifications, and that put him in fourth place. He was first on the steel rings at the Pan American Championships last year. And he's had World Cup success in the past. It's 13.733, goes into fifth place. Up next on the uneven bars, representing Japan, Nakashima Karin. In bar, shoulder work there, feet between the hands. Works well, transitioning between the high and the low bars, earning bonus points by connecting difficult elements. Simple front giant to make sure she has her grip requirement. And a simple dismount, but a stuck landing. Again, women don't get a stick bonus, but at least she won't pick up any deductions. Simple, but effective, the end part of that routine. But some difficult connections at the beginning. A really nice balance, well within her capabilities. And room for upgrading, I would assume, because it looked effortless. Here's that in-bar work. Back up to the high bar, straight back down to the low bar. All of these connections gaining her bonus points. The straddle stolder.
Und auch sie überzeugt mit vielen Flugelementen. Wir sehen jetzt nochmal, oder wir sehen ihn jetzt gerade nicht, aber den Inhalt, den ihre Kollegin eben gemacht hat.
Stolder with the full pirouette. Great toe point. And beautiful double pike dismount. She won't receive the 0.2 bonus for having a D or higher dismount, but she also won't pick up a deduction as she did stick it. That is the decision that coaches and gymnasts have to make. Execution versus difficulty, risk versus reward in gymnastics. The two have to counterbalance and decide what's best for each individual gymnast. Nakashima scored 13.5 in qualifications, which was 5th place. She needs 13.8 to break into the medals. This is her first World Cup. It's 13.8. Brilliant work. That puts her into 3rd place. Great job. That execution risk versus reward certainly paid off. Back over to the rings, representing Azerbaijan. It's Nikita Simonov. Working really well so far. In full control of the rings. Quite a long pause there. Perhaps trying to gain some energy, take a deep breath. Had open hands on that hold. So he's got to make sure his wrists are on top of the rings. Back up to the handstand position. Into the dismount. Ooh. I want to see that one in slow motion. To check if it was a stick. The reaction from his teammates and coaches seemed like it was, but I need to see it again. He's certainly specialist on this apparatus, has his own skill, worth an F. Last year he picked up silver medals at the Cairo World Cup on rings. He was second again here in the qualification round with 13.866, which at the moment is the score to get into the medals, which Cameron Nelson has a 13.866, so 14 puts him into second place.
Ja, und zweiter dann
Great
der
work.
Meister, ich glaube, wohl 14:00. Als letzter angetreten und auf Strecke geboren. Und als letzte kommen wir ins heutige Finale. Wir gehen an den Start für Italien, Elisa Ionio.
Our final athlete on the uneven bars represents Italy. It's Elisa Iorio. Great height in her release and catch, connecting it down to the low bar, back up to the high bar. Works into the eagle grip there, the inverted grip, and back up to the high bar with ease. Slightly off handstand there. Working again seamlessly into the invert. Look at her wrist position. We haven't seen that from anyone so far. She works through the pirouettes, back into it and into the dismount. Really great work. The Italians, known for their style on bars. We often see that inverted grip from Italian gymnasts. There's not many countries worldwide that use it as well as the Italians. The Chinese I would put up there as well, but beyond those two countries, we don't see it that often. Really great amplitude throughout these release and catches and transitions. That shoulder position, and here's that grip. Much more difficult than over grip and under grip, which are the two common grips. That's over grip for those new to the sport, with your hands on top of the bar like that. And again, there's that difficult inverted grip. And she winds up into the pirouette and back into that grip. You need flexibility through the wrists and the shoulders. And the double front dismount. Unique work. And she did it all extremely well. She qualified in fourth place with 13.866. Currently, the third place score is 13.8. First place is 14.133. She was part of the Italian team that took team silver at the Paris 2024 Olympics. And she was also part of the gold medal winning team at the 2024 Europeans. She was second on bars at the same European Championships in 2024. And she's first here today, 14.266. Incredible work. And a great routine to finish today's World Cup on. Do stay with us as we have our medal ceremonies coming up. Here are the final standings of our rings competition. In third place with 13.866, it's USA's Cameron Nelson. In second place with 14, it's Azerbaijan's Nikita Simonov. And in first place from Armenia, 14.366, Artur Avetisyan. Uncharacteristic mistake from reigning Olympic champion Kalian Emor. These three gymnasts stepped up when it mattered. In third place, representing Italy, Giulia Perotti. In second place, neutral athlete Milanu Kayumova. first place, the Cottbus World Cup champion on the bars from Italy, Elisa Iorio.
Und die Goldmedaille wird überreicht von Johanna Grabs, die ist Mitglied des Technischen Komitees Frauen der World Gymnastics. Gold medal presented by Johanna Grabs, member of the Technical Committee Women of the World Gymnastics.
Two Italians on that podium, showing their strength on the uneven bars. Great form, great technique, individual style as a nation.
Und ich bitte Sie nun, sich für die Hymne zu erheben.
And there we have our top three on the uneven bars at this year's first World Gymnastics World Cup. Italy's Giulia Perotti, neutral athlete Milana Kawimova, and in first place, Elisa Iorio.
Ja, so schön es da oben ist, müssen wir doch die Treppchen wieder freigeben, denn wir haben noch ein paar Medaillen zu vergeben und kommen damit zur nächsten Siegerehrung.
We welcome back our men's medalists on the steel rings.
Siegerehrung beim Turnier der Meister für die Ringe, der Turnier der Meister World Ceremony for Rings. Third place und the winner of bronze medal Cameron Nelson, USA.
In third place, representing the USA, is Cameron Nelson. Known for his floor work, really great to see him earning a World Cup medal on the rings. And in second place, it's Nikita Simonov representing Azerbaijan. And in first place, representing Armenia, Artur Avetisian. True rings specialist Artur, adding to his large collection of rings medals, the 2026 Cottbus Rings champion.
Member of the Technical Committee, Men, the World Gymnastics. Die Silbermedaille wird auch hier überreicht von Jürgen Gazzella, Vizepräsident des Deutschen Turnverbundes. Silver medal presented by Jürgen Gazzella, Vice President of the German Gymnastics Federation. Und die Bronzemedaille wird überreicht von Mirko Wohlfahrt, dem Turnierdirektor. Bronze medal presented by Mirko Wohlfahrt, Tournament Director, der Mann, der wirklich viel Zeit auf Gesundheit opfert,
And there's our top 3 on the rings here at the World Gymnastics World Cup in Cottbus. In 3rd place from the USA, Cameron Nelson. In 2nd place, representing Azerbaijan, Nikita Simonov. And in 1st place from Armenia, Artur Avetisian.